welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very exciting time. This is the first time we have had balance patch notes in Diablo 2 in 11 years. This is a very exciting time. The TLDR of everything is there are going to be new areas to farm. There's going to be balance changes to the skill trees. There's going to be items. There's going to be set item changes. You can upset items. You can make new Runewords and things like that. So there's a lot to unpack here today, and it's going to be starting on January 25th is the PTR, so we're actually going to be able to hands-on test this in the on Tuesday, January 25th. Today is currently the 21st. So in 4 days, it's Friday right now. In 4 days, we'll be able to do that. So we just read through all of this, and we're gonna try to blast through this as fast as possible, so that way you guys can get the sum up of everything that we did. So like I said, 25th is when it starts. So they want to make sure everything is still like, you know, kind of like old school and still feels like Diablo 2. Like I said, new class balance changes, new Runewords, Horadric cube recipes, and much more. I'm very excited for some of these things, and we'll get into them. So the table of contents, again, the link to the description, or link is in the description to this post if you are interested. But we got class changes, Mercenaries, Runewords, Horadric cube, set items, level area changes, gameplay changes, item tool tips, and then how to actually play in the PTR. So we'll just blast through the Amazon skills. Impale, basically, it's like Smite pretty much. It now just always hits and can't be interrupted. It is very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Impale or Javazon turn into like a really good smiter. Maybe even the best one to take on Ubers. We'll see with Charge Strike and stuff. They're removing a lot of synergies to things, but not losing damage, which means that it's all a buff technically, allowing us to deal more damage and move our points around if we wanted to go like more of a hybrid route. So physical bows, Javazon is doing a little bit better, and the elementals are definitely better as well. As we can see here, we have a 3-second duration that's fixed on Plague Javelin, rather than like, you know, it's scaling up with the damage. So this means you'll have a lot more consistent damage output with poison. Maybe some poison lightning hybrids, we'll see. As far as passive and magic skills, we have a lot of things being buffed up, like its radius, its effectiveness. Slow missiles basically are going to make missiles not do anything, which is great. By reducing its damage and its speed. So then we have Valkyrie, and this actually goes for pretty much all the summons. We have Valkyrie going from 6-second cooldown cast delay to like 0.6. So you can just spam it, kind of use it like a golem, or spam it a little bit better. And then overall, they took away the cast delay, sharing cooldowns pretty much on everything, and updated so that it shows the cast delay. A lot of things that were hidden before in Diablo 2 are now being shown. Dodge animation, dodge lock, and avoid lock are not going to lock you out anymore, which is great news. As far as bow and crossbow skills, the elemental bows are getting a massive mana cost reduction, which is great. It means we can spam more before having to use a mana potion. Strafe is looking really strong right now. Again, I'm just pointing out some of the bigger things. You can read this stuff if you want. But Strafe is looking really strong right now, removing that 25% damage reduction from the skill, and now gives attack rating. So, or increased attack rating. Some fire arrow no longer increases mana per level. Exploding Arrow, much stronger. Maybe we'll actually get a build out of this. And maybe we'll see if Immolation Arrow with the increased fire damage really melts bosses or not. So we'll see how this all plays out. I will be building an Exploding Arrow Amazon when the PTR comes out, and a Summoned Druid. Those are the ones I'm going to be starting off focusing on to see how they feel and how they go. On to the Assassin now. The Assassin is actually in a very good spot in my opinion. It's looking strong. They added attack rating to all the martial arts skills pretty much. And then in addition to that, the finishing moves, they made it so you only consume one charge and then it always hits. Now, that's great because, for example, Dragonflight, this is the one I'm most excited for. Maybe if I'm not going to play martial arts is better than it used to be, that's for sure. But if I'm not going to use martial arts to like be my main thing, Dragonflight, like you'll be able to teleport all the time, like 3 times, like 1, 2, 3, hit a few times, 1, 2, 3. You'll be very fast combined with burst of speed to get from place to place because we removed the cast delay. So, or they did. Shadow Disciplines, basically, like I said earlier, the tooltips are added in so you can see all those hidden stats. Also, the duration of things, the buffs are pretty much like normalized across the board. As you can see, it matches burst of speed and fade, venom buff that is. And then more of the same like Valkyrie got for treatment here. Traps. It removed Death Sentry synergies. So Death Sentry now, depending on what you want for a radius of the explosion, it's pretty much just a 1-point wonder now. You put 1 point in, and that's your Death Sentry. Everything else, you could put it to somewhere else. You could put it in a Dragonflight maybe. All that stuff. So, yeah, they just removed a bunch of synergies on things like Charge Bolt Sentry. And they didn't lose damage, like I said. You didn't lose damage, it just went elsewhere. So, we'll see how that goes. Wake of Fire and Fire Blast is now just going to be stronger. So, the starting off Assassin is just going to be even faster. The speed run for the Assassin is going to be faster. Wake of Inferno might actually be pretty good here with some pretty big damage increases. And Wake of Inferno is that, like, trap that shoots like a string of fire, like an Inferno fire. Blade Sentinel. So Blade Sin is looking extremely strong. A massive damage increase. Everything is faster and more smooth, it seems, across the board as far as blade skills go. And then they just buffed the crap out of your damage and added synergies. So it's just so much damage across the board with blade skills. There's some massive potential here with blade skills. And Blade Shield, like I said, matches all the other stuff for duration. And they display radius. The Barbarian ends up doing that too, which is great. Okay. As you can see, all these things are displaying the radius. Warcry is getting a 30% damage buff. And all the buffs are basically the same duration, which is great, and display the radius. Grimward, huge rework. This now slows and increases damage taken for nearby enemies. Probably Pierce. And then on top of that, you have a synergy for Find Potion with Grimward. So Grimward is actually very strong. The one problem with Grimward, though, is that it doesn't work on undead. Excuse me. On an undead. I believe that is. I wrote it somewhere in my notes. But anyways, yeah, can't do it on undead. So that's something that's an issue. Throw Mastery adds Pierce chance. Strictly better, but we'll see. I think you need to deal with the quantity problem with throwing over kind of adding the Pierce. It's a start, though. I think it's a good thing. Combat skills. Leap and leap attack, you move faster You deal more damage, and baseline minimum increased. So you're now moving zoom all over the map with the Barbarian. Berserk is now just stronger, the Berserk Barb. Now you actually put points into battle orders instead of shout. Double throw, stronger again. So they're trying to get some work done on the double throw, but we'll see. Again, that's why we're testing things and giving feedback on starting Tuesday. Now we're getting Frenzy that's just straight up stronger with a stamina, increased stamina synergy. So that's something. Going over the Druid now, we have Firestorm and Fissure, which is like the normal attacks. Those don't share cooldown anymore, and you can spam them much more. They're gonna be it's gonna make the Druid even faster in the early game, which is pretty cool. Molten Boulder is moving twice the speed, so but half the overall distance. Well, the overall distance is the same. It's just like it deletes itself faster. The delay is less, so we might see the return or the birth of a bowling druid. Also, the physical damage of the druid, like the Molten Boulder and Volcano and Armageddon, are going to be getting more physical damage. So that's good, I believe. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it all turns out. I would love to see Armageddon actually have like a bigger radius, but you know, one step at a time. That's again why we're testing things. As far as Arctic Blast goes, they're kind of like Inferno on the Sorceress. They are increasing the damage and also making it so you can control with freeform and no longer like locks onto a target. We'll see how that actually plays out. Cyclone Armor can now be cast in Werewolf and Werebear form, as well as Hurricane, which is great. There's no longer a cast delay on Hurricane or the Armageddon. Twister is being buffed, and it's increased damage scaling by 50% with a stun duration from Arctic Blast. We'll see how that actually plays out. Shape-shifting skills. Werewolf, now it displays the casting delay. Rabies is getting a little bit of a damage buff with some attack rating. I would love to actually see this be even more aggressive, because right now it's about 18-second duration for you to actually deal all of your damage. I'd love it to be around like 5 seconds, 5 to 8 seconds on Rabies, and I think that would be a lot better, but we'll see. I'll message them and see what we can do. Fury gets more attack rating. I love seeing more attack rating on melee builds. That's great. Tooltip updated. Now displays casting on the Werebear. Maul gets a little bit of a damage buff as well. Shockwave does get a buff, but unfortunately it's not going to really do anything. The base damage isn't enough. Fire Claws, it makes it like they did increase some things like the base damage here, but they did also remove 2 synergies, nerfing it overall, but allowing you to have more of a hybrid setup. So it would be more like fire physical claws. So we'll see how it goes. Summon skills, we have like basically all of the oaks, or the spirits I should say, are now 25% physical damage resistant across the board, and all the summons life or HP on all the summoning skills is now like pretty much the correct value, whereas before it just wasn't. The one thing that's different about this though is that the spirits will no longer be immune to physical in Nightmare. but overall more consistent. Yo, thank you very much, Bender, for the raid. Appreciate you. We have Ravens are going to be your spammable skill. Honestly, they're going to be pretty cracked, I think. We have a ton of synergies added. In addition to that, they're stronger. They only have 5 attacks now from 12, so it's going to be more of a spam skill. I was thinking that more like the Summon Druid might be more like a Raven build with like some summon supports, kind of like you have, what do you call it? Like Revive on Poison Necromancer or Summon Necromancer or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. Because you got to remember, like, they did buff Spirit Wolf, Dire Wolf, Grizzly, and all that. But you got to remember, you can only have one of these types at a time. It's not like the Summon Necromancer where you can have summon, you know, summon all the different types, you know, the skeletons, the revives, the mages. You can't have all that at the same time. You can only have one at a time. So it might be like Raven plus Spirit Wolf, Raven plus Dire Wolf, whatever the situation might be. But yeah, as I said about the life, everything's averaged. The damage scaling is increased. The life is increased on Spirit Wolf. And each thing is having more of a like unique personality. Spirit Wolf is now offering cold damage. So for different types of situations you might have Spirit Wolf summoned or Dire Wolf summoned. We'll see how that actually plays out. Again, I'll be testing this out on Tuesday once this happens, once this patch goes live on the PTR. Grizzly is a little bit tankier. Poison Creeper is better. It just does more damage, more life. Carrion Vine and Solar Creeper now have like a more consistent healing and mana per level rather than kind of varying like it did before. Moving on to the Necromancer. We have Raised Skeletal Mages seeing a buff overall with HP and its damage. Fire Mages don't seem like they're getting buffed. I don't think this is enough, but I think it's a lot better. Like, it's getting there. We'll see how it is. Again, we'll test it. Blood Golem is now getting extra life and more damage. And Iron Golem is now just going to be doing even better. Because now, what was it? Iron Golem, Thorns. Oh, Thorns, basically what's going on with Thorns now is that attack attempts count as damage. I'm not sure, though, that all of this is going to be great, but at least the functionality or mechanics of Thorns is getting better. But I'm not sure if we're going flat, if going flat damage over percentage damage is the actual play. We'll see how it all goes. But mechanically, attack attempts rather than a successful hit required is better. Holy Fire from Fire Golem being stronger is good. Poison and Bone skills. Pretty much all you need to know is Bone Spear and Bone Spirit is stronger now with synergies and more points. Bone Armor is more is better now. So you can actually put points into Bone Armor potentially rather than just the like Bone Wall to get more armor out of it. Weaken is getting this cute like 1 point equals 1% more damage reduction, and then tooltip off of Decrep. Paladin, again, there's just so many changes here and things going on. Now we display the maximum things. Like I said, the hidden tooltips are being displayed. We've got Blessed Aim displayed. Holy Fire is getting buffed, and we'll see how it actually plays out. So we have synergy increase from Salvation, resist fire, and the damage scaling is increased by about 90%. In addition to that, all these auras here, with the exception of Thorns, so Sanctuary, Holy Shock, Holy Freeze, and Holy Fire, now will deal like 100% damage, but as something gets closer to you, or you get closer to the target, it it will go up to 200% damage increase with the fire ticks. So we'll see how that actually goes. Again, Thorns, like I said, no longer goes by percentage. It's attack attempts instead. Doesn't have to be a successful hit. Sacrifice now varies how much life it takes away rather than a flat 8% of your life. It's still broken though as far as the range adder that makes it so you can't hit anything. Conversion now gives 90%. I would rather just see it be 100% if someone's going to use conversion. But 90% isn't too bad. Maybe we'll actually use it for some situations to take the heat off you. I don't know. We'll see. Conversion is just a weird skill. Tooltip displayed. Holy Bolt has its damage increased. It's removing its synergy. But also now pierces undead and allies rather than stopping on the first target you hit. Also, increased synergy from prayer. Fist of Heavens also has the Holy Bolt that pierces undead and allies, but they also improved the cooldown and cast delay, and then they fixed some of the buggy stuff when you're moving around or when you're trying to click things. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it feels smooth, because that was one issue that I had with it previously. Cold skills. So Frost Nova is now stronger. Does 25% increased scaling. All these skills, like Blizzard and Frozen Orb, now show the cast delay and don't share cooldown. So that's pretty good. We can see some nice nasty combos like Meteor, Frozen Orb being spammed. So we'll see how that goes. Because they don't share the cooldowns anymore. Similar to like the Assassin, the buff durations that you have are all like normalized here. So we have Frozen Armor 144, 144, and then Chilling Armor is like more similar. And Shiver Armor is increased. Our damage level scaling is increased. We have additional, good stuff. I'm just going to say. We got a better Shiver Armor, Chilling Armor, I should say, with synergies and better defense and stuff like that. So, one thing I'm actually very excited for is Nova. Nova static field is now a synergy to Nova. So it's like, it's pretty great. And then you have Thunderstorm, which is even receiving a synergy as well. And that duration is normalized. Energy Shield receiving more information on why telekinesis is important. Inferno, kind of like the Arctic Blast. And it's going to be even more range, so it's pretty far range that you're actually going to be able to shoot this thing. We'll see. It's still Inferno. I don't know if they're going to be able to make this thing work. We'll see. I doubt it. Then we have Blaze. Blaze gives you now a movement ability, and they made it stronger. They removed a synergy. Firewall doesn't have that shared delay anymore. Same thing with Meteor. Hydra is looking pretty sick. They removed the casting delay. And then you're limited to have 6 Hydras at a time, but they also buffed it with 2% on per synergy. Hydra's looking really good, so I'm excited to give that a shot. That is all the balance changes for the classes. So let's move into the Mercenaries. I'm trying to go through this as fast as I can. Pretty much what you need to know is that they made Cold Arrow, Freezing Arrow, Fire Arrow, Explosive Arrow. And they made it so that all the Mercenaries, there's no advantage or disadvantage where you get them. Whether it's normal, nightmare, or hell, all of it is just, all the attributes are the same. Don't worry about it. Skill gains, all that's the same. So there's no advantage or disadvantage anymore. As far as the Desert Mercenary, you can get all 6 types of auras starting from Nightmare, and in hell as well. So that's pretty cool. Another thing to note about the Mercenary is the Mercenary will always be your level when you buy it. It won't any longer be randomized, which is great. So the Act 3 changes are pretty sick. We have, overall, it's just getting a lot tankier. 25% life, 40% defense, 20% resistance. Just better scaling for all that stuff. The cold version of the Act 3 Merc now casts Glacial Spike more often, so more CC. And its level scaling is better and improved. They removed Inferno on fire and added Firebolt instead. It also added Enchant. So now you're going to be able to get Enchant from your Act 3 Mercenary. And they increased the chance of Fireball being cast. So I'm a little bit concerned about the AI here on the Mercenaries. It's really going to depend on the AI and how well it performs with all these skills. But there's some huge potential here. Lightning. Added static field. This is disgustingly massive. This means that every character will now have static whenever they want it, basically. If they want to go get static, they can go get static now. In normal, that means you can have static and potentially bring things down to up to 1 or down to 1 HP. Now, it does depend on, like, you know, the AI again, like I said, but having static field nonetheless, even if it attacks once, it's going to be very good. Maybe playing my Hammerden in the end game, putting static on my H-Den and start farming Bale Waves and things like that, or Bale himself, which is usually a difficult target. So we'll see how that goes. But the AI is a concern. They added Battle Cry, and they fixed some of the scaling of the other skills. They also made it a little bit tankier to max, or actually the tankiest, so better than the Act 2 Mercenary as far as life. Now down to Runewords. That was the Mercenaries. Runewords, this is absolutely massive. Insight is now going to be working in bows and crossbows. I can't explain to you how strong that actually is, or how good that actually is. The amount of flexibility with Insight in bows is so cool. Putting an Act 1 Mercenary with Insight is going to be so cool. Now there's so many more options prior to Infinity. You can also use Insight on your own. It gives a decent amount of ED, so you could go physical if you want. There's just so many options by having Insight on a bow. I'm very excited about this. In addition to that, the new rune word changes here. We have Plague, which goes into swords, cham, shale, and it goes 1 to 2 skills. It varies 13 to 17 cleansing aura and 220 to 320 ED instead of, I believe it was damage to demons before. So it's pretty good. I could see that being used on a rabies druid potentially. We'll see how that goes. And then maybe a budget version of like Death's Web prior to that. Maybe an Act 5 mercenary. We'll see how this all plays out. It could be like an inferior Insight, or Infinity I should say, maybe on an Act 5 merc. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. Pattern, this means that pattern is okay. I feel like it's a little underwhelming personally, but I think that overall the faster block rate is good. It makes it so you can use claw block or weapon block and not be stuck. So that's good. Pattern's alright. Unbending Will, we covered this the other day in another YouTube video. Basically for a foul rune and 6-socket sword. Oh yeah, by the way, it's in claws, obviously, if you didn't catch that before. But sword, basically you just get up to 30 IS and up to 330 or 350 ED. That's very strong for foul rune, in my opinion. Kind of prior to having Oath, like an ethereal Oath. It's a pretty solid rune word. Wisdom. This on an Act 1 mercenary with like a with an insight bow, freezing arrow, I'm just like so excited to try out some of these things. The possibilities that this thing brings are just endless. So we have this thing, it varies bonus attack rating, mana stolen as well, but giving you cannot be frozen, mana after kill. You're just gonna have all the mana in the world. But the main thing is piercing attack here and cannot be frozen. And having another option of cannot be frozen other than just rhyme on like other players, very solid as well. Then they showcased Obsession here. Obsession is basically says +7 to Meteor, +7 to Blizzard, +7 to whatever mastery you have. So we'll see how this actually plays out. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to see all this stuff. Thank you very much, Woody, for the raid. I appreciate you, man. Welcome, everybody. So we'll see how it goes. You have a huge amount of life here and some regen mana. Up to 70 all resist. Some people would argue that Dual Spirit is better or Hodo Spirit. But like, it is potentially the most damage. And it could also work on a support Barbarian. This is just an interesting rune word, and we'll see again how all this stuff goes once we get a chance to test it hands-on on Tuesday the 25th. Now, Flickering Flame, at first I didn't think this was that good, but it actually, what it says is +6 to like Fissure, +6 to Volcano, +6 to all your like Molten Boulder, whatever it is that might be good, the Bowling Druid. And then it has Pierce, and then it also gives your mercenary, who usually uses Endarl's Visage, max fire res. So now he doesn't have to have a Rel rune in there. Now he doesn't have to have an IES fire res jewel in there or whatever. We'll see how this all plays out, but I think that this is very strong, and Ravenlore could still be good, but I don't think it will hit nearly as hard as this will. Mist. We have Concentration Aura, which is great. We have Pierce, Attack Speed, Skills, all a bunch of good stats. Looks like they typoed, because I don't think they're going to give you +80 all res. Well, this is Bow and Crossbow skills. It's nice to see that they have Cham here, and then we have Zod here, and then Cham here again. Like, it's nice to see the use of some of these higher level runes to hopefully adjust the economy a little bit. The one thing about economy though with Flickering Flame is Pull Vex competes with Hodo, so we'll see how that all plays out. This overall, I feel like it's not the best rune word. It has a bunch of great stats for sure, but like, I feel like this is probably better for builds that are not typically bow builds. Like, because it says +100% pierce, now we can put that on a bow paladin, a bow barb, bow whatever, and I feel like maybe we'll see more meme stuff with Mist. Let me know what you guys think about Mist in the comments. What are you gonna play? I was theory crafting maybe like a summon bow necromancer, because, well, I mean, we got concentration and we got bow pierce, so whatever. I don't know, it's weird. We got plus skills. It's just an interesting item. Now on to the Horadric recipes. Basically all you need to know is all the unique upping recipes for the Horadric cube. Like if you wanted to up a let's see, Night Smoke into 4 rows, you know, you could do that, right? Now you can do the same thing with sets. And the 2 useful things I can think of right now are Death Sash and Eldur's Weapon. Other than that, I can't really think of anything for these, but it's really cool to have that availability. Oh, also like Huanin's Justice could be the weapon into a Colossus Vulge. Could be good. I was theory crafting with macro, and we're like, well, maybe we could use a full like Huanin's set and like do a Diablo clone with an upped. It's just like there's some cool possibilities that they added with this. We'd have to look more deeply into it, and see how that goes when PTR is actually live. But it's pretty cool. They added set item bonuses to some of the things, adjusted things. Overall, not really the best, I'd say. I think a lot of them are a little bit underwhelming, and you can read them yourselves here, but I'd say overall the best ones, like Cow Kings is already good and you're getting +1, and you're getting 100 life. We're seeing Cannot Be Frozen. We're seeing 20% increase maximum mana on Infernal, which is kind of cool. The problem with Infernal is that it's still a wand and not a dagger. Huge problem. Aratha's, which was good, is now just better with piercing attack. Cannot Be Frozen. Nauseous now has up to 148 magic find based on character level. So like 80 is like 125 or something like that. And then, and that's like 2-piece, right? So that's not too bad. And you get extra life with full set and stuff. So zombies get to tank up even more with 16% damage reduction, another skill. It'd be cool if there was like a poison immune thing for this, because it's kind of unique. That this just kind of gives you poison length reduction. So it would be cool if they gave you something like that. But anyways, Vidala's more damage based on character level. Some nice little changes overall in the sets, but nothing absolutely insane, I'd say. But yeah, anyways, it's cool that they're adjusting some things here. It would be really cool though if they could make sets spawn ethereal, because currently sets can't spawn ethereal. It would be really awesome if that was a thing. Why so many changes? Because this is patch 2.4. It's the first one we're getting. All right, continuing. Here we go. So level area changes. There are some things to know. Now you need to smash the compelling orb, which means no longer you can just kill the council and go to act 4 like instantly. Now you need to actually do the Khalim's will, get all the pieces, and then smash the orb. So that just means more time in act 3. As far as the monster level areas here, this is all difficult, or all hell difficulty. And we're seeing Underground Passage being 85. Stony Tomb. Underground Passage is a little bit underwhelming. I would love to see other ones. I have a video actually previously about areas I would want to see, but this is what we ended up getting. We have Stony Tomb. I'm really happy to see that with the fire immunes. Arachnid Lair and Swampy Pit are both very close to the waypoint. The temples are all 85 now. The sewers is 85. I'm still not sure about if the Ruined Temple and the Sewers super uniques are also adjusted with this. We'll see. And then all the Act 5 portals are also are also 85. I'm surprised they didn't actually do City of the Damned being 85. I wish that was a thing. But anyways, Icy Cellar, Drifter Cavern also upped. And I'm also surprised they didn't do the Uber portals to be, you know, at least 85. So, as far as general mechanics go, they're making it so things are smoother. And the character recovery will have diminishing turns when being hit by another player. So, PvP adjustments and some gameplay changes. So, maybe less lock and stuff like that will happen. And some tooltip changes, which is just mostly visual stuff that doesn't matter a whole lot, other than for me and people that are actually writing articles. So like that matters a lot to me. And then you can participate as well if you are interested. Again, all this stuff starts on Tuesday. Go and test, or you can come and watch the stream. We're going to be blasting, any of the max roll guys are all going to be testing things, blasting things. We all have different assignments on what we're going to be doing. We got it pretty well organized in order for us to actually be able to handle this massive amount of content. I am very excited. Hopefully you guys are too. Thank you all for being here. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. This is a massive patch, and I'll let you know when Ladder's live. or when ladder's going on. But for the meantime, I'll see you guys Tuesday. You're all beasts.